हरि ओम। हरि ओम। हरि ओम। हरि हरि ओम। हरि हरि ओम। जय नारायण परिपूर्ण कारण ओम। हरि हरि ओम। जय नारायण परिपूर्ण कारण ओम। जय जय शंख सुचक्र गदाम्बुज पीताम्बरधर ओम। जय जय शंख सुचक्र गदाम्बुज पीताम्बरधर ओम। हरि हरि ओम। हरि हरि ओम। हरि हरि ओम। श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रीवत्साङ्कित श्रितजनवत्सलवो। श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रीवत्साङ्कित श्रितजनवत्सलवो। श्रीमधुसूदन श्रीमधुरानन त्रिभुवन पालनवो। श्रीमधुसूदन श्रीमधुरानन त्रिभुवन पालनवो। हरि हरि वो। हरि हरि वो। हरि हरि वो।
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः एव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री गुरवे नमः। We are in the 9th shloka. What page number is it on? Can you all hear me? Anyways, page 38. संबंधिनो सतो नास्ति ततोर्नास्ति निवृत्तिः सहजस्य तु। कर्मक्षयात् अच्छा कर्मक्षयात् प्रबोधाच्च निवर्तेते क्रमादुभे। So last week we saw the conscious principle reflecting in the system, and that reflected consciousness with three. What are the three? Sahajam, and your books are with you. Bhranti Janyam. What are the three? What are they identifying with? The reflected consciousness, body, and witness. Are you clear with that concept? Or do I have to refresh it? A little bit of refreshment? Because everybody is like, it appears like we have spoken definitely on this topic, but it is not very clear though. Can you disturbance? Can you turn the gooseneck mic on? And turn this one off. Okay, good. Ahankarasya tadatmyam deha sakshibihi sahajam karmajam bhrantijanyam cha trividham kramat. The identification that happens of the ego with the reflected consciousness. What is reflected consciousness? Principle of life enlivens this body in this system. Like as soon as the sun's light hit a reflective surface, reflection. That reflection is called or reflected consciousness. This reflected consciousness identifies with the ego, body, identifications. Having thus identified, it spreads its identification out from there. So the first one, it is natural. Natural because it is of the nature of reflection. It identifying with the ego is quite natural thing to happen. Do anything about it. It's natural. Identifying with this body is because of our past actions or our intriguing interest in the actions itself. Participate in any action because actions yield a certain result. Like those results, I love to repeat those kinds of experiences again and again and again. I've heard many a few husbands who tell their wives, don't ever do this mistake when you grow up to marry. There'll be a beautiful cuisine or whatever food. Wife, in fact, I would say you should start cooking. And they eat and they say, it is good only, but not like what my mother used to make. बना के रखा है, खा चुपचाप. We always compartmentalize it based on our experiences of likes and dislikes. Like, I want to imitate it again and again and again. And in counseling sessions, one of the common most dialogue is love. he doesn't love me anymore like the way he used to do when we got married. Come on, grow up. Because we want to imitate that experience as long as possible. Examples that can be taken. Love to torture their body and do lot of exercise. Lot of hours. They sculpt their body as if it was like, sculpted stones stuck there. The only one name that comes in my head, maybe two. Stallone. Did I say it right? Sylvester Stallone. Schwarzenegger. Those kinds of muscles. And they really put in a lot of effort. And there are few saying, okay, exercise is fine. I may do it, but not to a point wherein I have to go through that kind of a suffering. But that fellow loves it. So he'll keep repeating it. And to experience all these things which I like, experience it through. Though they have analyzed it scientifically, that our brain is pretty stupid. It does not know the difference. They've done these experiments. Put all those connectors and put it in the scanner. One person, there are two people, so one person is given a green apple to eat. The areas that light up in the brain, other person who has to imagine as if he's eating it. The brain, same areas. So the brain, it doesn't know if it is something which is being imagined or something which is being really experienced. At the end of the day, which experience would you prefer? Oh, I want to go to Paris. Aankh band kar. Close your eyes. Because up here, it lights up the same areas. But it is the experience that seems to gratify, which is only through this. An ice cream which is being eaten, or imagine, which one would you prefer? Come on, guys. It's not that difficult a question. Feel that which you can tangible to your senses. That identification with the body happens because of that eagerness to experience again and again patterns of my likes and dislikes, the identification due to ignorance. Not ignorance of my true nature. So we did this experiment wherein we asked somebody to come and say, who are you? We'll define ourselves in various levels. I am tall, I am Indian, I am male, I am so and so, I can give a lot of I am. All of them are true, and yet they are not true. In itself, all those definitions will not make the complete idea of you. The true definition of that, it is not that which I am, using this body, mind and intellect. I am not these equipments. Commonly repeated example by me is when you drive your vehicles, right? What vehicle do you drive? Oh, that's a fitting size. What year? Mercedes C300. 2011. 2006. 2007 Honda CRV. Oh, good. You have a chauffeur that drives you around if required. That's more elite. 2015 Toyota Corolla. 2016 Toyota Corolla. There we go. We are talking now. 09 Toyota Corolla. And greet each other. Do you say, hey, Audi, how are you, man? I'm Honda. Do you ever refer to yourself with regards to the vehicle that you're driving? Because you have a distinct understanding that it is only a vehicle that I'm using and that vehicle is not me. Right? A Ferrari or a Lamborghini. Who are you, man? You see that? That's moi. But naturally, we don't refer to ourselves with our equipment. When it comes to this body, mind, and intellect, I'm so identified. I define myself as if I'm the emotions, as if I'm my convictions. They are tools that we have to use. But because of the identification, we become the tool. And that is because of Bhranti Janyam. Ignorance because of delusional convictions. In this particular shloka, we tackle this identification. Sambandhinoho na asti nivrittihi sahajasyatu. That which is happening naturally, the identification of the ego and the reflected consciousness for the ego to feel empowered. Form of matter is inert. If matter is inert, how can the ego have such an empowering feel? That all our interactions are based on how our ego reacts or acts with regards to the other egos around. Somebody insulted. I'm not going to go to that environment again. Or someplace your ego was pampered. And they said something to praise you. They said something to... You look handsome. Nice dress. Thank you. You know, the Amas, you tell them, Amma, this sari is so beautiful. Thank you. You know, actually, not that you wanted to know the history of it. They'll start off. I went to Kanjivaram and there I got this sari. And oh, hello, stop. I didn't ask for the history. I was just acknowledging that it was good. You earned your brownie points there. Where does that empowerment to that ego come in from? Because it is with that reflected consciousness. It happens naturally. That identification removed. So let's not worry about it. What are the other things that can be worked upon? What are they? At prabodacha nivartete kramat ubhe. kramat, one after the other. What is the first one in sequence? Ayat. The identification with the body moved only through karma yoga. To dispense all the layers of vasanas. To this topic, because that will be the whole study. Can be removed only by knowledge. As darkness can be removed only by, similarly, ignorance can only be removed by knowledge. Remove that identification with the body. How does karma work? Karma kshayat. Karma vasana cycle is anadi. It's been coming from millions and millions of births. This is not the first time we are taking birth. Time that we are taking birth as a human being. Probably other experience of taking birth as other creatures as well. Through all these different births, we have gathered. That which we have gathered, these impressions are called vasana. Every single experience that we have undertaken, experience, bad experience, whether it is an experience that I like, whether it is an experience that I don't like, all of them leave their imprints called vasana. Significant the karma be. When you eat Indian food, festival kind of food, even after you scrub your hands with soap, smell chole. You can still smell rasam. Have you ever experienced that? When at a physical level, even after scrubbing, can leave impressions. Imagine at a subtler level in our memory, what kind of impressions that it creates. Every experience that we go through, that impression is called vasana. Those tendencies are called vasanas. Vasanas can be classified samskara or vikara. Good vasanas and bad vasanas. Vasana actually technically means smell. Types. Good smell or bad smell. And the goodness and badness of that smell depends on what kind of impressions that we have grown up in. There is this famous story that fisherwomen folk take their fish in the basket because there was a market, farmer's market, to sell it there, fresh. Finished with their business, it started pouring down heavily. So their next door vendor, who happened to be a seller, she very cordially said, "Oh, in this kind of a stormy weather, why don't you stay at night, and as soon as in the morning it opens up, you can go back to your village." Offer, they accepted, and they had food. Rarely they get this opportunity to have women's night out. A lot of fun and frolic, and they all retired to sleep. Women could not sleep. Why? Overwhelming smell of the flowers in that house. So what did they do? The baskets which were empty, put them next to their head, just like that. because it was more of a familiar smell. Now the baskets were brought in. The lady, the owner of the house, she woke up because it was unbearable stench. One smell is good. For the other smell is good. Depending on what we end up liking or disliking. Example that I can take is when we as Swamis gather, to feed us is a nut job. Each one of us has a certain specification. Specifications run in 4 pages. This can be eaten, that cannot be eaten, this has to be served this way, this has not to be served this way. This is a huge list. Combination is when me and my beloved Swamiji, Swami Sharananandji, are on the same table. His food gets served in my plate. At the most, I'll have a frown on my face, but I can bear with it and eat it. Be as good as Nirguna Nirakara Parabrahma Paramatma. No taste, no attribute, because hardly salted, there is no spice, there is nothing. Green chili hanging there, he will start getting fumes. He grows the spiciest chilies I have ever eaten. He is an avid gardener. Even one. But by mistake, my food gets served in his plate. Spice level 0 to 10, I can eat 12. And if that food gets served to his plate, mistake, somebody had 1 chili added. They thought, how can he eat such bland food? Little spice. Amma, what did you put in this? Very, very. There's only 1 chili that I. For me, spicy is something that I like and I've conditioned that way. For him, something that which is not spicy is how he has conditioned. His vasana is that way and he likes it. What we wear, what we eat, how we behave, how we do things. Each one of us has a specific design. Don't we have? One day I felt really proud. I was catching my flight from LA. And there were these Indian looking, they looked Indian, but I didn't know that they were really Indian. So they came to me and said, are you from Chinmay Mission? I'm not carrying a board, man. How do you? So they find a sadhu wearing these clothes and they come directly and say, you must be from Chinmay Mission. Are you? You must be from Chinmay Mission, right? How did you know? I said, you Chinmay Mission Swamis have a way. The way you clothe, the way you walk, the way you dress, you all have your signature. That is all because of our Gurudev. We all have been groomed. And just because of the way we were walking and talking and sitting, they recognized that I was from Chinmay Mission. Evident. Don't we have our own signature? We walk. Like today I was watching in the birthdays in the last session. 3 girls, and one thing unique about all these 3, they're all 3 of them were walking on their toes. Heel first, then the toes come down, and then we walk. 3 girls, they're walking on their toes. So each one of us has a way to walk. Some of these best imitators, they nail it down with the walk, the hand gestures, with the facial expressions, with the voice, the tone. people, they claim that they can imitate, they do say maybe hand gestures or facial movements, voice, but good imitators behave, talk exactly like the other person. Have you seen such imitations? And those are the ones they present it really good. They nail it down. Signature, how we do things. Now, all that is an expression of that vasana in a louder format in the actions. What is the catch in this vasana and karma? Because of the pre-existing load of vasanas in the form of tendencies of likes and dislikes, I perform actions. It compels me to work in that pattern. Right? And as I perform these actions, they in turn leave residue of these impressions, that which was already there, more and more, deeper and deeper. Vasanas, therefore, I work, I do actions, and these actions in turn my impressions, and these impressions in turn demand the kind of actions. Those actions in turn. So for this life of my previous life's patterns decide how I act, behave. Into this cycle, those who think that they are intelligent thinkers, I also went through that phase. Question. The beginning, first time that I ever took birth, what was the cause? Because my earlier life impressions, this life's actions, and this life's impressions become my cause for next life. So when I trace it back all the way to the first birth, because there could not be vasanas, because there is no prior to it. If there are no vasanas, there are no actions. What was the first one? So it is almost the question like, अंडा पहले कि मुर्गी पहले? Anda and murgi. Chicken or egg? There was an elderly person, I saw solve this problem very beautifully. Some kid asked him, what is first? Anda ke pehle ki murgi ke pehle? So he played complete ignorance. What do you mean by egg? I don't know what it is. So this kid ran around, got an anda. This is anda. So he said, for this anda, murgi is first. No, not like that. In the very beginning, I said, I don't know about that. For this anda, I can tell you the cause. When you go back, whether is it vasana first or karma first? Are the cause. What is the actual cause? The actual cause, the ignorance of our true nature, and that root cause stems out into two branches, and vasana. And as we keep performing this karma and vasana, communication with the concept that I am this body keeps getting strengthened again and again and again. So how do we break this pattern? defines it very beautifully. He says in his definition for freedom, to not do that which you like is called freedom. Usually, how we are constantly groomed. You should do what you like. You should do what you are feeling passionate about. By your likes and dislikes. So you are still entrapped in those likes and dislikes. How do you break that? The mind is complacently settled in, and break each one of those patterns out. Not waking up in the morning. So what is the discipline said? Have a disciplined life wherein you wake up early in the morning. Why are you doing it? Because I like it. Liked it? Break it. Courage to identify and break all these patterns to feel the sense of freedom from them. Because all our life, all that we do is nothing but that which is whipped by our likes and dislikes, and we behave exactly in that pattern. And people feel surprised. Am I that predictable? Difficult. If somebody watches you closely and identifies what you like and what you don't like, you're done. Predictable. Are we not predictable? So supposing somebody caught you sleeping, but somebody caught you sleeping. I said, D, what is the immediate reaction? No, I was not sleeping, I was thinking. Oh, in your thinking, your is bobbing up and down, and the side of your lips, there is you're drooling, and you call that thinking. Pattern. Especially the kids observe the patterns of their parents. Can they push the buttons? Don't you know as to what your parents and what can soothe them? When you want something, you do align your ducks in such a way, and they come over to you and say, "You've been a pretty last few days." They may not show it outside, but inside, this is what is happening. I laid out a trap for you. Exactly know how to push buttons to irritate them as well. Don't you? Did it become predictable? What are you talking about other adults? All that they have to do is observe your likes and dislikes. I learned this very early in my life. When they bring food, they'd like to constantly ask, Swamiji, what do you like? If by mistake I reveal what I like, you know what will happen? Everybody will know, and they will frustrate my life in such a way that that which I like becomes that which I don't like. That only. Very nice. Instead of what I I like. What the best? No, Swamiji. I want to do something which you like. I said the best way to wriggle out of this is surprise me. I like surprises. So I learned is not a good thing to do. Because there is a very thin line between surprise and a shock. I told this Amma, surprise me. And she brought this sweet. And she was refusing to say what it was. I said, no, you eat and find out. I laid the trap for myself. Scoop. And it was something which was not cooked in its core. Very chewy, sticky. After one spoon, it started irritating, itchy in my throat inside. I can't find out, but I think I'm done. No, Swamiji, until you find one more scoop. Thing got to me in such a way that for next, it was on a Thursday evening. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I could not speak. Only air was coming out. So finally, I said, what did you make? I said, this is a Mexican sweet made out of taro root. I said, gosh. We cooked through. Otherwise, it starts itchy. And that's why in most of the Indian dishes, when we use taro root, it is usually deeply cooked or deeply fried. Any other way, it will start itching your throat. So my surprise became because what you like will become what you dislike now, once you reveal it. Because every bhiksha, every other bhiksha, every home that you go, it will be that thing. Oh, you like no Swamiji? Take. Once in a while to have that, you love it. Every meal, you'll get disgusted. How do we break out of this pattern? Discipline to identify likes and dislikes and to break them systematically. First step. No, Swamiji, without coffee, I need to have it. That is my kickstart. That is how my system gets rebooted. If I don't drink coffee, I'll have headache. There can be some biological things, but my take on it is, usually when we have a craving for something, what happens? The mind starts shouting. Morning you wake up. Say, I need to have my cup of coffee. Sometimes dirty fellows, they don't even brush their face, brush their teeth and wash their face. They go directly to the kitchen and then go do all the things. Why? Because as soon as they're done, there's a fresh pot waiting for them. I think I hit a nail right around there. Many of them have this habit. And you went into the kitchen. You opened the coffee. As you're opening that coffee powder box or little jar, you remembered. The powder is, you have exhausted it. You said, okay, never mind. I'll take the next one. What is the next best bet? Instant coffee. Opened that instant coffee and your roommate said, I finished the last packet yesterday. You quickly rush to your room, brush up, and to the nearest. Now at this point, the desperation is so high that it doesn't matter. It needs to be the hot brown liquid, whether it is from Starbucks or McDonald's or Dunkin', it doesn't matter. And the nearest one says closed for repair. In Bombay Hindi, they say bad luck hi kharab hai. So in through this process, what is happening? You woke up with the thought of coffee. And as it increases, the craving increases, the thought process becomes aggravated. I need to have coffee, 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 coffee. Inside, that is what is happening. And because of that agitation, it sets the mind in such an amplified state of despondency that it's a form of headache. Makes sense, right? You have that coffee. First thing, you smell that coffee and you're like ratatouille already in the air. Many times when I jog around, I go through the Starbucks on Davenport and Frankfurt, not to buy coffee, just to smell once and come outside. And then come outside. So you smell. You feel the warmth in your hand. Your first sip. As you take that first sip, it just spreads that warmth and it is dripping down and it percolates inside. Actually feel the warmth going in. Find these patterns, identify these patterns, and create a disciplined effort to break all these patterns mercilessly. Without trying to look for substitute. You started. No, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? That is called mudra language. Any dancer? Oh, all the dancers. Step than that is every action which is our responsibility, perform those responsibilities selflessly. Meaning, perform them without expectation, appreciation, or the result. To perform them just because they are our responsibility. So our Shastra's way of telling it is, why do I have to do this? Just cause. Many of you have this, right? Why? Just cause. I've never understood what it means. Just cause. Of telling it. Why do I have to perform this? Just cause. It is your responsibility. Fulfill it without any expectation. Do it selflessly. Second step, offer it to a higher altar. Dedicate that action to a higher purpose. However insignificant the job be. Swamiji, dedicating my work or my effort to Chinmay mission, I can understand. I can, teach in Balavihar. I can take care of the bookstall. I can understand their dedication. What is brushing my teeth? Such an insignificant job. What do I dedicate? See, that is what is to be learned from Gurudev. Is to say that you prep yourself up, clean yourself up, so that you become a right equipment for that Narayana to function through. Therefore, it has to be clean and maintained properly. Brahmachari or any sannyasi would come around and he is not wearing proper clothes. They said, is this how you serve Narayana? And his key words there is, it always matters and what you address. It has to be perfect. The clothes that he would wear, he would take the effort to iron it. Or it has to be that perfect. Service, dedication to that Narayana. Who dedicate their life, dedicate their actions to the platform of science, social welfare, to the platform of various platforms. The highest platform that we can is the altar of Mahatma, that Lord. Discipline and dedicated. The existing vasanas are not done or encouraged because I like or because I dislike, just because it is a responsibility to be fulfilled. The concept. Karmakshayat. Slowly, as we dedicate, as we grow in this pattern, wherein none of the patterns of likes and dislikes have a hold on me. That these likes and dislikes will disappear. Independent of these likes and dislikes, you can start using these likes and dislikes to enhance your abilities to a higher level of sophistication. To perform the same responsibility with finesse in it. That you do it with such charm in it. Dedicating the act even better. Likes and dislikes, we have to become independent of them. That freedom from likes and dislikes is called karmakshaya. Karmakshaya, or the independence from that likes and dislikes happen, the identity with the body or the understanding that comes in is, this is an equipment. This equipment as a dedication to the highest altar. In the war, sacrifices his own life in order to save and protect the entire platoon. What are they given? The highest honor. Whatever that country holds as the highest honor. Why? There was dedication. Even the country recognizes such a great act. Now imagine dedicating it to the higher altar. What is the immediate benefit that I get? Immense. Because I'm no more distracted or agitated with the wants of the body, mind, and intellect, because I have transcended my likes and dislikes. Transcend my likes and dislikes. How is my mind? Like a placid lake. No ripples in it. And this used to happen sometimes very early morning in Mangalam. Classes on that deck. was the best. As you look around, the lake is so calm. And you can see the sun clouds, the trees, the entire panoramic view reflect in such a way that if you really watch it, there is an immediate, like you take a photo and flip it, you would not know whether, which part is a reflection. In the recent Yep flyer, setting and its reflection, you look at it, you flip it, you will not find the difference. Did I use the word right? Synchrony, is it a word? Okay. It's so synchronized. Okay, fine. That is called being in attunement surroundings, being one with your environment. You are there, but you are there with the freedom from the likes and dislikes which bind us to this body, mind, and intellect. And with the nature and surroundings. Does it make? Now coming to the last one. Prabodhat cha. The delusion is caused because of ignorance. Doing a patchwork in containing that delusion, in the evening when the sun has just set and it is little dark and there is still light, you don't need dark enough. You're walking from your porch back into your house, breeze, and you saw that a little plant move, and you saw what is moving. There was a snake. As soon as you see a snake, what is your reaction? Sometimes you are so scared that nothing comes up. And when the brave one comes with a flashlight, with a stick, and then looks at it, hugs this person and says, it's okay, let's go inside. Delusion. What will remove the delusion? That they throw that flashlight there and check. This is a hose, man. It is just a pipe. What, really? And you go check, a little scared but still trying to check. You go bend on it. Okay. That effect of ignorance, the knowledge that it is not a snake. So sometimes listening to Vedantic examples, walking, and so you saw a bush moving, and you saw that it was a snake, because you already heard this example. It's not a snake. It is a... Go closer. Raises its hood. And you start running. Even for that delusion to go, you have to have knowledge that it is not a hose. Only knowledge can remove the ignorance and the effect of ignorance, which are delusion, fear, and there is no other method to remove it. To remove darkness, other than throwing light in that area, is there any other method? Superman vision. Let's talk about reality. Any other way? Can you remove that darkness any other way? Can only be removed by light. Similarly, my true nature can only be removed by knowledge of my true nature. Therefore, in our traditions, whichever tradition of a primary focus is given on satsanga. Satsanga means an environment wherein this knowledge is given from that who is experienced it to the one who is to. And this concept has to be revisited again and again and again. Why? Because the delusion is so strong that once listening to it doesn't help. And keep analyzing it and punav vichara, thinking, contemplating on this again and again through the satsanga is the only method to bring this knowledge. Therefore, the tradition is Shravanam. Through satsanga, what we get is Shravan. Contemplate on it again and again and again. Every time, like there is this beautiful book that we use. It's called Self Unfoldment. I must have read that book at least about 150, 160 times in last 25 years, 28 years. Even today, when I take that book, it is one book that I cannot put down without completing the entire book. First time when I read it, and I said, oh, this is good book for just entering into the spiritual. A nice book. And now when I read it, the nuances is so amazing that every time I go through it, my mind is like, whoa, where did I miss this point last time I read it? Do the chintana again and again. Subtler nuances of this aspect, this knowledge reveals itself. And that in its application alone can remove this delusion. No other way. One of the primary things in Yuva Kendra, in this particular age group, what is the first thing that is focused on? Is satsanga. And that satsanga benefiting us, therefore we apply it in seva. Only methods to grow. Because seva helps us break the karma. And to constantly contemplate is the sadhana. Seva, sadhana. Constantly, repeatedly, we have to keep going through this. That's the only way this effect of delusion caused by ignorance can be removed. The ignorance itself can be removed. Clear so much? We'll continue next week. Om Shant Shant Shanti Harihi Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Next 3 Sundays, we will not have this Drg Drishya Viveka Satsanga. Because next weekend we have camp and many of us will be busy in that. So it is impossible to do a satsanga from there. Then the 2 weeks after that, one Sunday I am in Toronto, the other Sunday I am in Trinidad. So this after that also we have teachers training. Teachers, you have to come on both Saturday and Sunday, 29th and 30th. We'll have teachers training, teachers sadhana day. And then we'll revisit this topic on May 7th. So until then, sorry, too much of activity, too much of travel. Recontinue this from May 7th. Oh, we already said Shanti. Hari Om.